Welcome to Mini Heroes by SkillBase First Aid. I'm Charlotte, a primary school teacher of 15 years and one of the creators of Mini Heroes, the workload-free first aid training for children that exceeds statutory curriculum requirements and empowers children to save lives in a practical and engaging way. Did you know that since 2020, physical first aid has been a statutory part of the PSHE curriculum? All schools in England have a requirement to teach it to all pupils by the end of Key Stage 2. But how much physical first aid do they need to know? Well, the national curriculum guidelines are quite brief, but they state that children should know the basic concepts of first aid, such as dealing with common injuries, including head injuries. They also need to know how to make a clear and efficient call to the emergency services if necessary. Are you confident that your school's meeting these statutory guidelines? So exactly what do children need to learn to meet those guidelines? Well, in September of 2020, the DfE released this training module, which outlines the suggested areas that should be taught at Key Stage 2. It included a long list of things such as burns and scalds, choking, head injuries, headaches and vomiting, and many more. But we know that teachers currently in primary schools don't always feel confident in teaching first aid in all of those areas without either spending a lot of time looking into it or with support from other agencies. Teachers are wondering where they can find high quality, engaging resources that are going to support them in teaching correctly first aid to children in a fun and engaging way. This is where the mini heroes come in. This is Maya, Liam and Rohan. They're 10-year-old children and they've completed their skill-based mini heroes training at school. They're very good now at spotting the signs of distress, and as soon as they see someone who needs first aid, they transform into the skill-based mini heroes. You might be wondering if Mini Heroes would help you in your school to meet the DfE statutory curriculum guidance. It absolutely does, but it doesn't just meet them, it exceeds them. As well as all the Key Stage 2 teaching, we've also created sessions for early years and for Key Stage 1. We've made sure that our course covers every DfE requirement outlined in the training module, and we've also added a couple of bonus ones. In Key Stage 2, you can see that that's where most of the teaching takes place. We've also added in a unit on asthma, and we've added basic life support or CPR as well. We know that the Resuscitation Council advises that children have an awareness of this from as young as possible. They suggest even from the age of 6. The course is designed for children all the way through primary school, although a lot of the sessions focus on Key Stage 2, where that statutory requirement is. We've also got sessions for children in early years and in Key Stage 1, because we don't just want to meet those requirements, we want to offer a gold standard. You might be thinking, so is it just a package of PowerPoints? Am I just going to get some PowerPoints that I can do with my class? Mini Heroes is so much more than that. It's super engaging PowerPoint presentations that make sure they teach through story. We know that this is such an important way for children to learn. It's completely workload free for staff. It contains videos of a fully trained first aider modelling correct first aid in every single session. Mini Heroes also contains all of the physical resources that you need for every child to practice their new skills in every session. Think bandages, plasters, ice packs, wipes, any other practical resources. They're all included in Mini Heroes. It includes a to-scale cardboard smartphone for every pupil. To practice making their 999 calls. It includes display resources, quiz worksheets, and most importantly, it's confidence for staff to be able to teach this and for children to learn their physical first aid. You might be wondering what the course looks like, how the sessions are structured. The digital resources have been designed to be really, really engaging to children. This is something that came through really strongly in the feedback from our trials when we went out to primary schools, that staff felt children in their classes were really well engaged in the sessions. We also had 100% of school staff agree that by telling through story and using animation, these sessions strike the right balance between giving the children the skills that they need, but not worrying them. So each session starts with a code of conduct, some ground rules around learning and practicing first aid. They then have a story told through the SkillBase mini heroes, where the mini heroes model in the story the correct way to deal with the different scenarios. There are age-appropriate questions planned into every session, with the answers in there always on the following slide as well. And then every single session contains a video that recaps that information and shows our first aid instructors modelling how to do that correct first aid. Every session also includes a practical element. Whatever the children have learnt about in that session, they will be putting into practice. So we want them to learn through doing. We know that by doing the skill, that's going to make it a lot more memorable, and we can facilitate them to really have a good go. Let's see it in action then. So this would be session 1, which is on emergency calls. Each session starts with a title slide, and then a bit of information for whoever is delivering the session. Just lets them know what resources they'll need from the starter kit that you get from SkillBase, and roughly how long they'll need to teach that session. The code of conduct is there, as well as some simple objectives about what children will learn in each session. Questions and answers are all planned in, and mini heroes give little bits of information throughout, and then they go on to the story. If you'd like to spend a bit more time looking through any of these resources, looking through the stories, speak to one of our support team and they can send you a free digital sample pack that contains one of our mini hero stories and shows you some of the other resources that you get when you sign up and buy your starter kit. So we can see our mini heroes just coming to the end of their story. We've got a few more questions planned in. And then we get onto the video element. So the video recaps the teaching.
How do I know if I need to call 999 for an ambulance? Well, if there isn't an adult nearby who can help you, but the casualty needs medical help quickly, you should call 999 for an ambulance.
Just go forward a little bit.
It might be for something like if you found someone and they're not awake or not breathing. It could be if someone's got an injury that means they can't move, like they've had a stroke or they've got a better look at those
videos.
It could be
and then the practical part. So in this session, the practical activity, children will be able to use their SkillBase mini heroes phone. So they would get one of these per pupil to physically be able to practice making their 999 calls. And in this session, their 999 calls are all based on picture scenario cards. So on one side, they have their image of somebody who needs an ambulance. And on the other side, we've got the real call handler script that a 999 call handler would use. So children can work in pairs, with one of them playing the role of the emergency call handler, while the other one makes the 999 call and gives the relevant information about the situation. And we've got different scenarios, so children can repeatedly practice this skill. So going on to a few more questions that you might have. Lots of first aid courses out there need to be HSE compliant. Any adults that do first aid courses and need that certification will need that HSE compliance. With this being for school children, it doesn't need to be HSE compliant. It just needs to fulfil the requirements of the DFE and of Ofsted. So children don't get an official qualification from this, but they do still get a certificate at the end. You also don't need to be HSE compliant to deliver this. So any adult can deliver this. It could be a teacher, it could be a teaching assistant, it could be a cover supervisor, somebody who runs an after-school club. One of our first aid trainers can come in and run these courses as well, but you don't have to have had the relevant first aid training to be able to deliver this yourself. Is it just for schools? It's actually for anywhere that teaches children between the ages of 4 and 11. So yes, this might be in the classroom in PSHE lessons, but it could also be as an after-school club, as an enrichment activity, or even things outside of school, like in scouts, brownies, sports clubs, things like that. In terms of how long it takes to cover, it can be delivered as a continuous full day, in which case for Key Stage 2 that would take a whole day. For Key Stage 1 it would take a couple of hours, and for EYFS just 45 minutes. However, there's a lot of flexibility so that schools can make this work for whatever you need it to. If you wanted to deliver it across a number of weeks, so as a weekly PSHE session, you can absolutely do that. If you wanted to hold a whole school first aid day and each year group to cover 3 or 4 different sessions within that day, you can absolutely do that as well. If you want your own school staff to deliver the course, Mini Heroes is great for that. But also if you're looking for a first aid trainer to come in and help out with some of the sessions, we can help you out with that too. So in terms of delivering this course, there are 2 aspects that you would need. One of them is the starter kit. This is a one-off purchase. So once you've bought this, you don't need to buy this again. It's not an annual thing or anything like that. It's just a one-off. What you would need annually are the pupil packs or the Mini Hero kit. So in this, you get your Mini Heroes phone, one of those per pupil. They get their course certificate, they get their reward sticker. But what this also does is that each time you buy your Mini Hero kit, it automatically renews your digital license for another 12 months. So by purchasing that, you're automatically getting all of your lesson plans, all of your display resources, all of your presentations, all of the videos, and everything like that. To show you a bit better what's in them, we've got some images here. So you've got all of your first aid physical resources, so your ice packs, reusable bandages, plasters, first aid wipes, but also some digital resources. So lots of things that you can download and print off to create displays with, quiz worksheets, other activities. You get your 999 scenario cards, which are printed on really nice thick cards, so they're absolutely reusable. And then in the Mini Hero kits, these are the things that you would need annually. So each time you can see the Mini Heroes phone, the course certificate, and the reward stickers. In terms of pricing then, our initial discounted rate gives you the starter kit for £199, and then the pupil kits start from just 60 pence per pupil, depending on how many you're purchasing. So the more you purchase, the price per pupil goes down. We've taken Mini Heroes out to trial at a number of different primary schools, and we've been really pleased with the feedback that we've got. Lots of the feedback from school staff talked about how age appropriate everything was. They kept mentioning this word confidence, which was great for us to hear because that's really important to us at SkillBase, that children were really growing in confidence and that the children were highly engaged throughout. More feedback that states how engaging it was, and also how inclusive this course is, so that it really catered for children with additional needs. The language used is really child-friendly, and again, another piece of feedback that says how engaging these sessions are. The children loved it too, so we assessed their confidence based on just one 60-minute session in the trial. We looked at how confident they were in physical first aid before that and after that, and that was only after one session. They just learnt one element of first aid. They really enjoyed it as well. They loved using their Mini Heroes phones. They loved doing anything practical. And when we asked them how much they enjoyed it, again, just one 60-minute session, they really, really enjoyed doing that. Hopefully now you're thinking, how do I sign up? If you go to our website and go to the First Aid Courses tab, look for Mini Heroes, and you can get yourself signed up there to deliver this. If you still need any more information or you've got any more questions, visit our website and reach out to someone who'll be able to help you. Ask them for your free digital sample pack. They'll be delighted to send it along to you, and hopefully you can see even more of what our course is about.